sales is the most lucrative skill in the world, period. The problem is most sales advice out there today is outdated, cheesy, and can even keep you from getting the deals that can make all the difference in your career. This is the No BS Sales School, a podcast for entrepreneurs and salespeople who want to master the skill of selling without all the BS. So it's funny. Been hearing a lot from my clients, as inflation hits, which is generally good for salespeople, right? Because we get paid on commission, typically on commission based upon the price or the margin of what we're selling. So bigger cost, bigger margin, better for us. But they're getting a lot of objections from their customers and from some prospects that the price is too high. The price is too high. The price is too high. The price is too high, right? And Walker, how do we deal with that? We can't sell because our prices are too high, right? This is the belief that we have. This is what our customers want us to believe, that our price is too high. So let's talk about how do we handle the price is too high objection, right? This always begins with, what's your price? How much for this, right? In a more transactional sense, what's your price? Oftentimes we will sheepishly say, oh, it's $3,000 or whatever. But instead, think about it this way. Let's flip it back around. I'm going to give you a couple of different scenarios, a couple of different ways to handle this. But if you're feeling gutsy and somebody says, what's your price? And you say, it's a lot. Why don't you share your budget and I'll tell you if you're in range? Boy, that'll flip them over on their head, right? It's a lot. Why don't you share your budget and I'll tell you if you're within the ballpark? Who's in control at that point? You are the salesperson. How gutsy do you feel? What's your budget? I'll tell you if you're within range. Another way to handle it. What's your price? We're expensive. It's going to be a lot. Well, how much is it? You say $3,000. Holy shit, they might say. And you say, see, I told you. See, I told you. Or they can say, that's not that much. And you say, damn, we got to raise our prices. Right? And then we can keep the conversation going. Guts and humor is a great thing. There's the best way of, that's what players do, right? Guts and humor. And a player loves another player. Here's a third thing, right? How much is it? We're not going to be the cheapest. We are definitely going to charge more. Well, how much is it? It's $3,000. Holy shit. I could get this somewhere else for $2,500. It makes sense. We hear that a lot. If you knew that people buy from us, knowing they can get it cheaper somewhere else, knowing that we're never going to be the cheapest, but they come back and buy from us time and time again and say they're glad they did and tell other people they should do the same. Why do you think they would do that? Smart business people like you. A couple answers they could give. They could be a smart ass and say, well, they must be stupid. To which you can say, you really think all my clients are stupid? If you had to think of a reason a smart person would do it, what would it be? Right? So then another feedback could be, they could say, I don't know. I don't know why anybody would do that. You say, makes sense. You never thought about it, right? And they say, nope, never thought about it. They think they got you. And you say, now that you've had a minute to think about it, why do you think they would do that? And you may get some response like, well, you must be better. Don't fall for the trap. And you say, I don't want you to fall for this trap. And I want you to say instead, so what would better have to look like for you to justify even spending a penny more than cheapest price? By the way, y'all know this already, but somebody who only wants to buy cheapest price is going to be your shittiest customer. If you serve the lowest price people, what they're telling you is they don't give a shit about you. They don't care about your company. They're not loyal, and they're going to be a giant pain in your butt. Guaranteed. They're the ones that only buy on price. They'll demand great service. They don't give a shit about you, and they'll complain constantly. You don't want those guys. Let's also remember, you're not going to win every deal. Something one of my clients said was about one product that they have that's always more expensive than everybody else. When somebody calls about that, a customer, and they'll say, look, it's expensive. How much? $3,000. Wow. I can get over here for this much money. So you go through your process and say, if you knew people paid us more, why do you think they do that? Say, well, I just can't afford that right now, or I can't pass that along. And then you say, can I share with you what some other people are doing? They realize that some of our prices are higher than other people's, but here are some of the things they do buy from us. And what they tell us is, if we need that stuff that you sell that's more expensive quickly, or we have to have the best service for this, or we can't screw this up, that's the time they come back and buy from us. Tell people how to buy from you. Let them know when is the time they should call you. When they're in a jam, when it has to be exactly right, when you need it to be perfect, when there needs to be no screw ups. Because you know what? What are you telling them without telling them? We're better. Your good customers will become accustomed to this. They won't even ask you about price after a while, but you've got to get people there. Your newer customers, you got to get them there. That begins with, right, asking questions, not telling. If you find yourself going, well, we've got better service, better quality, better blah, 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 you're losing the game. They don't hear that shit. Best case scenario, you say, here's why other people tell us they spend more money. They say they like the fact that they can get it in a day or two. They like the fact that our service, 99.99% of the time, things come in correctly or on time. Right? That's why they pay extra. I don't know if that matters to you or not. Always with the takeaway. Another way to handle is somebody calls about price. You say, let me pull it up on my computer. It's running a little bit slow right now. While it's coming up, do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? When were you hoping to have this? Why then? What happens if you can't get it by then? Right? All of a sudden, you're going to find pain or problems beyond price, because it's never just about price. People just don't know how to buy from you. We've got to show them how to buy from us. I'm Walker McKay with No BS Sales. If you want a consistent training program to learn to be better at the profession that feeds your family, we're starting programs right now for people that are ready to have a good fourth quarter and to kick ass in the first quarter. If that's you, send me an email, walker@walkermckay.com. That doesn't necessarily mean that you buy, doesn't necessarily mean that I sell to you, but it means you're willing to have a conversation about where you are now and where you want to be. Thanks for listening. Please share this episode with somebody that needs to hear it.
Thanks for listening to No BS Sales School podcast. If you haven't already, please take 1 minute to write a quick review for the show. It really does make a huge difference. Also, subscribe to the show and please forward this episode to somebody else who needs to hear it. As a bonus for listening, I'm going to give you access to a free mini course, 7 expensive sales mistakes you're making and what you can do about it. Go to www.7salesmistakes.com and get access to the free mini course. That's the number 7salesmistakes.com. Thanks again for listening to the No BS Sales School podcast.